props. Part 3.
Part 3.
It's really take 3.
Take 3.
Because she keeps messing up. I'm going to start videoing, and it's going to be the Dave and
These
Katie
shirts are $22 a piece.
Dave and Katie shirt. Yeah, Dave and Katie.
Move forward.
Anyways, what? Oh, mine's. I've got the little.
Dave usually doesn't flex in front of
I like
the camera. He's trying to show his back.
Got my community change tattoo because that's what Katie and I did all the time when we first started seeking out help.
Talk about therapists who answer questions correctly or non-correctly.
No, correctly, because
we hope that they answer correctly, and if they don't, you should let me know.
Well, no, what I was going to say is I've been very fortunate over the last 2.5, 3 months to meet several employees of Revitalists in different states, and the one common thing I noticed is no one attempted to say they knew what my job was, and that's huge because I don't know what their job is. That's why I'm seeing them. So my thing is the honesty you get. I mean, tell me, I don't know on that. I'm there, you're telling me that, I get that. And I also trust that you're gonna try to find out for me. And that's the experience you get at Revitalists. That's where I go back to. It's Revitalists is set up to be very as relaxing as something like this can be. Right, as something like this can be. So I think you automatically warrant a little trust when you within the first 5 minutes of being there, because it's you're not getting that bad vibe. And then when you throw in somebody like the CEO of Revitalists that's sitting here saying, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to let you know. I don't know. I hear that, and I will try. Will try to get you the answer. That's all I ask for. And if you can't, maybe we can figure out something together.
Well, and two, it's not being judged, right? So if you come in and you're like, listen, I had a gun inside my mouth last night, we're not going to be like, oh no, time to go off and let everybody deal with you. No. If you're open enough with us to say that, we're going to sit down with you and we're going to be like, all right, let's figure out a plan together.
Right. And
it's not.
But I will say this too, though. You're all going to say, hey, I give you props. You had a gun in your mouth last night, but you're here talking to me today.
Absolutely.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
You know, but unfortunately.
Or I got hammered, or I've been drunk every night this week. We're not going to judge you.
But you know, the thing is, and people need to understand that's happens. I mean,
life.
You're not just throwing that out there saying this is a possibility that somebody. It has happened. People.
And whenever I say
life.
Right, and whenever we say it's life, we're not saying it's normal life. We're saying, hey, you're at the crossroads of something to where, hey, ask for help. It's the same thing as if you tear your ACL or your MCL or whatever. You're like, I can't walk up a step, or your shoulder. Right. When you're an athlete like Dave, you got all these injuries.
Actually, this one I will blame on Grim for my canine. He would jerk me, and I always use my left because your right hand has never got anything in it in law enforcement if you're right-handed. So he jerked it. So yeah, it's just a matter of time before under surgery. Listen, look at me. I had a big step last week. I went to one of the worst things that I ever experienced in law enforcement.
You did, yeah. Big deal.
Yeah, huge deal.
26 years. After 26 years, the worst thing he's ever been.
Yeah. And one day maybe I'll share that. But 8 months ago, if I did that, which I didn't even attempt it, but if I'd have done that,
5 years ago, 3 years ago.
No, it's 6, almost 6 years ago. Actually 6 years ago. I would have been stuttering within. Probably before I even left that area, I would have been stuttering, and it would have came down to I would no sleep. I would have just started spiraling out of control until I had to go back and get a booster. I've even thought about a booster off of that. I mean,
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah, it's scary. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It's scary because you like. I say it's scary because you don't realize when people tell me you're making great strides. I will only acknowledge certain strides. One of my biggest strides is if I make it through this and I don't need a booster. That's a stride. That's my thinking's so wrong on this crap. It's not even funny. Every time I walk into Revitalists for help, that's a stride. That's making progress. Period. Because if I didn't do that, then that's not progress. So you got to give yourself credit. And I'm just now starting to do that.
And it takes
you know, yeah.
Right,
well,
right.
I mean, you. That's one thing you've always done is you're like, hey, go, yay, go you. You know, because you do lose a lot of.
You don't know. You lose your base.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're walking around and it just doesn't feel right. I don't feel right.
Yeah,
Everything
and I got a big
off.
base. I got a big base.
Bigger. It's bigger. Clearly, it sounds like it's bigger than that left arm that got hurt when Grim pulled that out.
Are you saying I'm getting a little like extra weight on me? That's muscle. It's muscle. I work out. I found out what a gym is. Yeah, I didn't know what a gym
Slim
was.
Jim?
Oh, people, you're welcome because I put up with this. Bill is required to put up with it. I put up with it.
Got a lot of strong men
so
around
that you
me.
don't have to put up with it.
So here's the deal. Oh, and let's talk about this before this video ends, because I think it's only giving us a minute or 8 minutes, I want to say. But let's talk about this. Ketamine, drug screens.
Yeah.
With officers or nurses or whatever else. Should you have a prescription of ketamine and you test positive on a drug screen, you're going to be okay. They're not going to hurt you with anything. They can't legally hold you accountable. Here's the other thing. They go and do a drug screen afterwards. I've actually treated a physician who had to do a drug screen the next day. Came up completely negative. So the piece of ketamine is it's so quick on and quick off. That's the neat thing about it, is because it goes in, does what it needs to do, highly effective, and gets out. So you're worried about the drug screen piece, we got you covered. This happens all the time in medicine. Everyone that you're working with more than likely has a prescription for something that if they didn't have a prescription for, they wouldn't be able to work. But where they have a prescription for it, it's fine. So while we do not give external prescriptions, you do have a prescription from us in-house because we have our prescriptive abilities to give you those prescriptions. So don't let that be a big worry. We got you covered.
Yeah, and I think that goes to where you can't just walk in off the street and say, hey, give me 125 whatever of ketamine right now.
We won't do it.
Because no, you're not gonna treat someone that doesn't need to be treated. So yeah, I that's one thing that even my department we did research the fact that was there going to be any legal liability from me doing ketamine on a Tuesday and working on a Wednesday if I wanted to, and there isn't any. I mean, it's
out of your system.
It's out of your.
It's out of your system.
Out of your system, but like Katie said, you technically have a prescription for that. It's not physical, but if I go and say, hey, my department needs a prescription on file, can you send them something? Absolutely.
We send a letter. You're under care. They don't have to know any details.
Right, but
about anything, but we got your back covered, and it follows exactly the same medical procedures that we would with any other type of healthcare.
And somebody at Revitalists will be more than happy to speak with an HR director or a chief of police and explain all of that out if it never needs to be done.
Whoever. We'll speak to anyone.
I will speak to everyone.
We're done.
Ooh.
Except Dave. He'll be at the gym. I'll go speak to the priest. All right.
Hey, if you get a chance, come by Tap 40 today.
Buy a shirt.
Any day.
Donate. Unitapparelcompany.com.
Yeah, listen, buy a shirt if you can. If you can't, if you got $5 worth of change sitting in there, help donate to community change. Let's change lives.
Let's get to it. Thanks for watching.